The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles brand has been done. They've been through the ringer. Fucking cartoons and shows and movies and all video games, like all sorts of stuff. And Ninja Turtles holds a very special place in my heart. When I was a kid, it was literally Batman, Superman, Ninja Turtles. That was my shit. I fucking had the cartoons on tape. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You remember that shit, Dusty?
Yeah, my notification on my phone is dun, 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 dun.
Turtle power.
We have a very important mission for tonight. We must use stealth and cunning to infiltrate the human world and retrieve Go-Gurt.
Go-Gurt. Okay, Batman.
Dude, what? I'm just trying to hype you guys up.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is the newest film in the long-lasting Ninja Turtles IP. This is directed by Jeff Rowe and Kyler Spears, and it was written by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. Got a lot of people doing voices in this movie.
Crazy cast.
I'm not really too familiar with the kids.
I don't know the kids at all, but they did a great job.
Star-studded.
The film follows the Turtle brothers as they work to earn the love of New York City while facing down an army of mutants. Essentially, the movie opens, we see Baxter Stockman. He was a former employee of TCRI, which anybody who's familiar with Ninja Turtles will know. They are the nefarious science fucking organization that developed the mutagen that allowed for these transformations to take place.
The ooze.
The ooze, yep.
Yes, or sludge.
So this is the story of the Turtles. Like, they're young in this. I mean, they are teenagers, obviously, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but they're much younger than they're portrayed in like some of the previous media, I thought. And they
were damn near fucking retired, if I remember right. Like, they always seem so much older.
They do seem older,
and other stuff.
But they want they want the love of the city. They want to be part of like human life. They're enamored by New York City and like the culture and
normal
like,
shit, really.
And normal shit.
They just want to go to school.
Yeah, they want to fucking. Who the fuck wants to go to school? Nobody. But they
Not
do.
me.
They do. They want to be. They want to be a part of it. And of course, they got their dad mentor Splinter saying like, "Fuck humans. Humans are scumbags. When I was a regular rat, they fucking mistreated me and this, that, and the other thing. And they won't accept you.
Milk you, man.
They gotta milk you, bro. The running milking joke was fucking so funny.
It was hilarious, yeah.
And then there was that line at the end of the movie where he's like,
"You got milk?
He's like, you left the sewer, and now you're getting milked." Like it was something along those lines.
They were trying not to tell him, like, don't tell him.
What is this? Is that a milking machine?
It's like the Milk-O-Matic or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
3000.
Yeah. I thought the movie was very funny. A lot of the time, I thought it was really funny. Dusty specifically said last week he didn't know. He was wondering how I would like the animations, and maybe because I didn't quite like the animation of the Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah,
I did like these. I liked them a lot.
It was good,
actually, because
it was a lot easier to follow, and it wasn't as chaotic as Spider-Verse.
Yeah, but in terms of like actual art, I liked it because it had like this real like urban sort of feel to it, which fits with the theme of like just taking place in New York City. Overall plot of the movie I thought was good. It worked. It took me a while to warm up to the voices. Before I watched the movie, obviously I've read some reviews of it and people were complaining about the woke stuff, right? Like, oh man, there's April.
Oh, April's black.
Well, not that she's black. This time it was actually that she's not like a thin, hot white chick like she is in past stuff. Like in this, she's like, yeah, she's black, but she's also like, you know, she's a thick girl. She's got she's got a booty. You can see that shit from the front. So I guess some fucking incels didn't really care for that. I don't care. I thought she was a cool April. It was more so the turtle voices. My Ninja Turtles growing up were obviously all white actors. That I don't have a problem with. But the one thing that it really took me a while to get used to was Michelangelo specifically. Because Michelangelo is always portrayed as like a fucking California like surfer, like whoa skater man, bro. Like a skater bro.
Yeah, right.
And it's like it's such a huge part of his character. I had no problem with what it was in the film. I liked it. I thought he was funny because he still had his little quips and his jokes. And when he did his flip, he was like, he did that like that soulful like.
It felt a little alien at first.
It did. It felt a little bit jarring at first that he wasn't what I had in my immediate memory. But by the end of the film, I'm happy to report I did come around to it. I didn't bump into it at all. I ended up liking all the voices. I thought I was going to have an issue with April because in, you know, the older material, she's like an adult and she's a real reporter. But I think it really worked for her character in this and the story of like trying to get acceptance and stuff like that. So that was cool that she, you know, she's kind of like similar to their age. and whatnot. But the one character that I didn't like was Splinter. Not a fan of how they portrayed my boy Splinter. It had like the dad thing down, not so much the mentor thing down.
Well, he was just more aloof about it. I think he was still a pretty good mentor. He was just not as disciplined.
When I say mentor, in the old series and movies and comic books, he is like they always refer to him as Sensei, Master Splinter. In this, they refer to him a lot as Dad. And he's much more of a dad to them in this movie than in previous stuff. I don't think it's a bad thing. He obviously always cares about them, loves them. He does in the old stuff. But his approach of like, don't go outside, like everybody's gonna hate you. It was way more of like a parental thing.
Yeah.
Than like
keep him safe.
Than like a training thing.
At the same time, he wasn't like stalking them, tracking them down. Where are you going? What are you doing? Like,
no, he wasn't. But he had that vibe. Let them go out and
make their own decisions and their mistakes. But you still, I mean, you want to. I mean, as a parent, you kind of want to like protect your child as long as you can, because you know eventually they're going to get out there and they're going to see that the real world is a fucking shithole and people fucking suck.
That seems very dangerous.
Be danger for breakfast.
Actually, I eat pizza with bits of waffles on.
It was effective for his character arc because obviously, you know, by the end of the movie, he realizes that he's kind of no different than Superfly was, like hates humans and is like raising his family to be afraid of everybody.
Right.
And Superfly's like the extreme version of that, trying to like exterminate humanity so that mutants can fit in. But I think I prefer the older Master Splinter. Splinter in the original comics and the original live action movies, Splinter is the pet rat of a ninja named Hamato Yoshi in Japan. He learns ninjutsu by just watching his master practice, and he mimics his master's movements. Eventually, Hamato Yoshi gets into some sort of dispute with another ninja. In the comics, the ninja's name is Oroku Nagi, and Splinter's master, Hamato Yoshi, is eventually murdered by Nagi's brother, Oroku Saki, and Oroku Saki goes on to become Shredder.
Ooh.
So there's a bit more lineage there where there is a beef, like a specific beef between Shredder and Splinter. Because Splinter witnessed his master get murdered. But again, I prefer the older Splinter because he has like the teachings and the it's all about like it's like what martial arts is. It's not about fucking people up. It's about becoming enlightened and like one with yourself and like your surroundings.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about the Master Splinter. Even though I'm not that familiar with it, I can understand. I think this fits more though because of the age though. Like you wouldn't really want to see, or at least I don't think I would want to see him being so hard on them at this age, as far as like super strict and that sort of thing. I think him being more fatherly and that it works out better with them being so young.
Yeah, well, he's never really strict.
Yeah. Well, more disciplined, more sensei.
That's the word. Disciplined. He is disciplined in his craft, and that's what he's trying to teach them is discipline. How to just use your skills like properly, because they're teenagers. They fucking run amok. They're skateboarding.
Right, to an extent. I mean, he's, I don't know, like I said, I used the word aloof earlier, but also like I took this more of like the drunken master type sensei, where he's obviously taught these guys skills because they're well trained. They're fucking kicking ass when they first fucking jumped into action. So you can obviously tell that he's trained them and that they've learned their craft and they know that they need to stay away. So he's done well, but then they finally get into it and he's not mad at them. He doesn't scorn them or anything. I think they do a pretty good job in this movie of saying this is probably a pretty good way to do it. I'm not upset that you guys did this as long as it worked out. You know, obviously you'd be upset if it didn't work out and people got hurt and shit. But I mean, that's why you fucking train and teach, right? I mean, I get what Dan is saying, like how Splinter was versus how he is, because how Splinter was versus how he's portrayed in this is quite different, but it didn't distract me at all. And I didn't mind it. I liked it actually.
I mean, I'm sure it was a conscious decision. Like everything has to mesh together, right? So you wouldn't want the old school Splinter and then it doesn't even fit right with the vision they were going with the younger kids. Also think since I wasn't so attached,
corporal punishment and stuff, you know?
Yeah. Since I wasn't so attached to like the originals, the voices, they were pretty good for me. Like I didn't feel like I had any issues.
Right.
kind of just accepting it for what it was. Like it seemed like it's fitting perfectly for
it didn't
everything.
distract me too long. I mean, it was a little weird at first, but I mean, like maybe like 10 or 15 minutes, and I was past it.
Yeah, same for me with the voices. I really liked Jackie Chan as Splinter. But
and he's a badass in the movie.
He is. But
like,
back
when he had to show up, he showed the fuck up.
Back to the portrayal of him, just real quick. I can't believe I couldn't think of the word discipline, but that was the word I was thinking of. So yeah, in the older stuff, they come to him for guidance when they don't know what to do. I'm not a parent, but I've experienced it with my own parents. And like, parents don't always make the right decision for their kids. And oftentimes their guidance and their advice and stuff comes from a place of personal experience, which we see here with Splinter.
Yes.
But also they kind of do it with their heart because they want to protect their kids. And that's why I say it leaned more towards the dad thing, because his advice, obviously, as we see by the end of his like character arc, wasn't really the best advice because it was stifling them. It was making them unhappy, and like they wanted more from life. Whereas the older Splinter had the discipline. His advice came from more of that disciplined place. It had like a reason for it aside from just like emotion being attached to it. That's right. The big difference.
I think it's perspective too, like though, like you could see this as more of like a prequel to what you know as
right. And that's
the Ninja Turtles. So
like we didn't get Shredder in this, so we really don't know. Maybe in the second movie
we did.
We do well. We did, but we didn't.
And he looked fucking badass. For the
so
second
maybe they do unveil some history in the next one that they didn't talk about in this one, and maybe there's some subtle hints.
I think it's a great intro story for
absolutely yes,
the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, yes. I did.
For no one that's ever seen Ninja Turtles, I think this is a great intro, and
sure
I think it's a great time in like their lives to show them to like younger people and older people. Like I think it bridges the gap for both. Like it appeals to both.
It gets the point across of like who these people are. Like none of them are like super far separated from their, original characters. Splinter is like the guiding force. Leo's the leader.
Raph is Raph.
Raph is like the hothead. Donatello's the brains. Michelangelo's just kind of Michelangelo. They all had those little personalities. In fact, I cried towards the end when, oh man, I'm actually getting choked up now talking about it. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm ridiculous. But when they said to Leo, like...
Yeah, she sounded like a leader. I do? Oh, I do! Oh, I sound like such a leader. And you ruined it.
Because he is the fucking leader. And him and Raph always butt heads because Raph is a hothead, and they had that in it.
He's the stubborn hothead,
Yeah. So they did all that stuff perfectly well. So for somebody like Marvin, who isn't really familiar with the turtle, like this is a great introduction. And I'm glad you mentioned that it kind of felt like a prequel, because it does feel a little bit like a prequel to the Turtles that we come to know.
Yeah.
And this is kind of them just like finding themselves as like, I'm using people for lack of a better word, but yeah, they're finding themselves as like individuals, I should say.
Soundtrack was amazing in this. I mean, I'm sure you guys thought so too, but
I did. The soundtrack
was really good.
Was very
Vanilla
good.
Ice,
Shout out Vanilla Ice.
De La Soul.
Well, Marvin
even had Blackstreet, bro, which is crazy.
That's from the original.
They also had Tribe Called Quest. They had a lot of classics.
Big Pun,
And you don't know this, Marvin, because you've never seen Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, which was the second live action film. But in that movie, there is an iconic scene.
Yeah,
in this movie, go ninja, go ninja, go ninja, go ninja, go. And I actually cried when that happened. That was a good little Easter egg. There was a lot of New York Easter eggs too that I was surprised about. This movie does a really good job, and they probably went over your guys' heads.
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
Well, there was that, but when Superfly is actually giving his like little like monologue about why he became disillusioned with humans, they go to a very famous pizzeria called Spumoni Gardens. It's in Brooklyn.
I've heard of that actually.
Yeah, they have like the best fucking pizza. So there's a lot of like little cool stuff like that.
If you're a New Yorker, you get it.
Oh, if you're a New Yorker, you see it instantly. Yeah. But yeah,
so that's cool.
Yeah, no, it was cool. I think it stands on its own as just like a good Ninja Turtles movie, and there was enough little like Easter eggs and like references and callbacks to like some of the stuff that I remember as a kid, just enough to be like, hey, here you go, like this is for you. buddy. And like,
funniest thing to me was when Superfly was beating up somebody and he was just punching the shit out of him. He was like, now he's molly-whopping me.
It was Michelangelo. I actually wrote that down. So it was hilarious.
The car chase scene was probably the best action scene of the whole movie, I think.
That was good.
And that maybe in the first fight in the
chop shop.
Car garage.
Yeah,
chop shop, yeah.
I like that too because of course it had the go ninja go part. Pleasantly surprised is a good way to say it. I didn't really have expectations for it. I just didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. Marvin mentioned it in Discord the other day, and I think I agree. I think I enjoyed this a little bit better than I did Across the Spider-Verse in terms of
this is way better than
comparing animations. I think this was a better movie.
It's probably like tied for the first one for me, but this is definitely better than the second.
Michelangelo, you have heart. Donatello, you have wisdom. Raphael, you have bravery. And Leonardo, honor.
So yeah, it has a 7.3 on IMDb. I am there. I think I'll give it a 7.5.
Oh, I'll give it an 8.
Bump this up.
I give it an 8. I liked it. I'm trying to think if this is my favorite animated movie this year so far. There's been a couple of DC that were pretty good, and then a couple
Mario
other ones
came out this year, right?
About. Yeah.
Right.
So
I might actually like this more than the Mario movie.
But this is good. I'll give it a bump. I liked it. I said, pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
Yeah.
The bump.
I give it an 8 too. Actually, my favorite, the funniest scene rather for me was when they were imitating New Yorkers. I ran that back like 3 times. That shit was so funny.
Oh, the Bronx.
Yeah. We outside.
I didn't get a chance to rewatch it. I watched it before I drove back out here, so I had seen it in a few days, and I wanted to rewatch it today, but I didn't have time. So I'm excited to rewatch this.